right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo's Wrestling Room. Uh, Starting to get up there in the number of episodes. I don't even know what number episode this is anymore.
Not real sure either.
I'll look what I downloaded here in a little bit, but no, joined like always by Tony Gonzalez. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Not too bad.
There's been quite a bit of wrestling going on. You had the over the weekend the Money in the Bank, which
Yep.
I watched last night. Didn't get to watch it that night because I was out camping. Uh, and this weekend we have some independent stuff going on. So has some Vince McMahon news. There's quite a bit of stuff going on in the wrestling world right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Where you want to start at? You want to start with the show reviews or?
Yeah, we'll start with the show reviews. We'll start with Raw. I'll tell you all. Well, first of all, I watched 3 shows. Uh, Seen a little bit of Impact, but not all of it, so I won't review it. Um, uh, 2 of the shows were okay. I mean, not really great shows. They weren't bad shows, and that was Raw. Would be the first one that I'm going to do, and then same thing with Dynamite, AEW Dynamite. They were okay shows, but there's nothing really big or really caught my eye on those shows. But we'll start with Raw. Raw started off with Bobby Lashley addressing the crowd. Of course, you said Money in the Bank, and I guess I'll give a kind of a spoiler, but everybody's seen it by now, I would think. He won the U.S. Championship over Theory during Money in the Bank, but Theory comes out and says he has a rematch clause, and he's going to get that rematch clause at SummerSlam. It's coming up at the end of the July, the 30th, and he plans on cashing. Also, he won Money in the Bank later that night, got added to the match, so he's now your Money in the Bank holder. He plans on winning back his U.S. Championship. Then later that night, cashing in on either Lesnar or Roman Reigns and be your new champion. He's gonna be double champ. He's gonna be the man. So uh, pretty good segment. They're really pushing Lashley as I guess probably the top baby face on Raw, especially with Cody being out. I think they're trying to push him towards that. And Theory, I think they're doing a great job with Theory. I mean, this dude's only 24 years old, and I think big thanks for him. Some people complain that people are saying that they're pushing him down people's throats, and they're getting that because Roman was pushed pretty hard. Theory's not been pushed nothing like that. Just because McMahon has came out and did vignettes with him and stuff to help push him, that people want to say they're pushing him down their throats. I don't think they're pushing him down anybody's throat. What do you think?
I don't think they are. I've liked what they've been doing. Like I said, we'll talk about it a little bit, but I thought Money in the Bank was good, and I didn't have a problem with him coming out for that match. So, I
I
mean,
think people.
he's hot. I mean, he
I
gets a
think.
reaction. I mean,
I think people say they want surprises and stuff, and they want different stuff. But I think when they get surprised, some people, or at least the ones that think that are smart, they get mad because nobody knew they were going to put Theory in the match. Of course, once they put Theory in the match, a lot of people thought Theory was going to win. But they did a good job during that match with Riddle about getting the belt, other people about getting the belt. So they had enough suspense in it. And of course, Theory did win. But nobody knew it was coming. So I think they get upset because they don't know it's coming. So, yeah, the
yeah, I
next match,
agree. They make predictions and they get mad because they were wrong.
yeah. Yeah, because everybody, was predicting. Of course, if I thought it was going to be, in my opinion, I thought it was only going to be Seth Rollins or Riddle. That was just my opinion. Originally, I said Cody Rhodes, but Cody didn't, got hurt. But you know, I wasn't mad. I love seeing different stuff. Um, Next match we had on the card was Rey Mysterio and Dominic against the Judgment Day. I don't know. I don't know if you got to see Raw or not, or how much of it you've seen. It was a decent match, but they was in San Diego, of course. Ray's that's kind of his home place. San Diego is, so the crowd was really hot for the match and really hot for Ray and Dominic. But Ray and Dominic got the disqualification win by pulling a Eddie Guerrero. Uh, he got a cheer in the ring and smacked a cheer on the ground and then laid down and referee turns around and thinks that Finn Balor and him hit him, so he called for. Of course, you shouldn't be calling for the bell. You didn't see it, but called for the bell, and they got the victory. Of course, after that match, they attacked him backstage. Judgment Day attacked him backstage. They're heading somewhere with that. Maybe at SummerSlam, I hope. And I hope they hold off to SummerSlam for Edge to come back. They're showing on Raw and on SmackDown and NXT. They actually showed it during Money in the Bank, a little vignette, which some people thought it was at first, and even me, I thought it could have been Bray Wyatt. But after you really watch it, it's Edge. It shows the Dudley's glasses. It shows Kurt Angle's medal. It's showing different stuff. Some Jeff Hardy stuff and the Hardy Boy stuff. So it's where they're going with Edge, I don't know, but I'm excited to see. He's going to be back soon and see where they go with that. Next up was Liv Morgan. She addressed the crowd as a new champ, and tell you she's got some work to do on her promos. I'm happy that she's a champ, and I'm glad they're giving somebody else a chance. It's been it's other than of course Bianca Belair. She's the only other one that's been champ other than in the last 4 years, other than one of the four horsewomen. And it's now Liv Morgan. So I'm hoping that they give her. I hope they just don't give her a month or two. I hope they give her some time. I know the crowd's behind her and want her to do well, so I hope she does. But Natalya and Carmella came out. I don't know. It wasn't a bad segment, but it wasn't great. And end up in a tag match. They attacked her, and Bianca Belair come out and help Liv Morgan. End up in a tag match. It was a decent match. But I hope Liv Morgan gets a shot to prove herself. Again, she's only like 24 years old. I didn't realize she was that young. I thought she was older. But hopefully she gets an opportunity. From there, they had a strong match. Still getting a good crowd behind him is Ezekiel. Seth Rollins, one of the best in the business, so it was a great match. Seth Rollins got the win, but Ezekiel didn't lose nothing and lose them. That's what some people don't understand. And I'll talk about this in just a second after the last match. Becky Lynch against Asuka in a no disqualification match. It was real solid. I wish they'd give it. They've been doing that lately with their main events, only giving them like 12 minutes. I wish they would give them just a few more minutes. I think the match could have been special. Not that it was a bad match. It was really good, but I think it could have been a little bit more with it if you add another 2 or 3 minutes to it. But Becky Lynch gets the win in the no DQ match. But perfect example. You think Asuka's over with the crowd pretty good, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. Since she came back in May 28th on TV, her record is 1-14. That's what I mean. Wins and losses don't.
They don't matter that much. Especially if you do it the right way.
If you're connecting with the crowd and connecting with the audience, it don't matter. Next up, NXT was the Great American Bash. I tell you what, I think this show was really a good show. They showcased some young talent, and a lot of it I think is ready to move up to the next stage. I just worry that if they moved them up, I don't want to move them up if they don't have something for them, and I worry that they would get lost. But first, we had the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Toxic Attraction putting up the belt against Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. And Roxanne and Cora Jade got the victory in a really good match, really good tag match. Cora Jade's getting better and better. Toxic Attraction, to me, I think you put them up on a Raw or SmackDown. Have a tag team tournament, maybe put the tag team titles on them and let them give them to mean something. I think Toxic Attraction is ready for the next level, personally. Roxanne Perez, she's like 22 years old. Cora Jade's like 21. I don't know if anybody's got pushed anymore as quick as Roxanne Perez. She came from Ring of Honor. Of course, she trained with Booker T. She came in. She's been in the company maybe 2 or 3 months. And matter of fact, next week she's going to challenge for the NXT Women's Championship because she had won a tournament and she's had that chip that she can cash in anytime. She says she's cashing in next week. So they're really pushing her. I worry about her size a little bit, but in the ring and her personality, top notch. So I think she could be a big star for WWE. Next match from that was Tiffany Stratton, who to me is I mean, from seeing her first match maybe 6 or 7 months ago to now, she might be the most improved wrestler that they have on NXT. She's come from gymnastics. She's a really great athlete. She's got that good personality, kind of that bad girl, sassy, rich girl, spoiled personality. And I think she's real good. I tell you, Wendy Chu, a lot of people complain. The same people who love Orange Cassidy want to bitch about Wendy Chu playing a girl in pajamas who, like from a sleepover, wearing a onesie, want to bitch about her. And she's good in the ring. I mean, is it a goofy character? Sure. Was Mick Foley a goofy character sometimes? Just just watch it if you like it. A perfect example, Orange Cassidy. You know, at first, you and Austin was talking about, hey, that's hilarious, and I'm saying that's stupid. I said, that's ridiculous. And then, a couple months later, I came around and said, hey, he's a good wrestler. I enjoy this. I understood what they was trying to do. So just enjoy, give it a chance and enjoy it. Next up, man, this might have been match of the night. It was close. But these next three matches were fantastic on the card. Had Carmelo Hayes against Grayson Waller. Carmelo Hayes put the belt up against Waller. I don't know if maybe looked like maybe they're going to turn Waller a good guy. I don't know. I think he's a perfect heel. I think he's a good enough heel that he could be on the main roster. I think Carmelo Hayes has got ability like Shawn Michaels. I think he's got personality, charisma, athletic ability. I think he's got it. It was a great match. Hayes won the match and retained the title. But both of those guys, I think, are ready to move up to the next level. Next up, real interesting match, had the Creed brothers putting up the NXT championship against their teammates on the Diamond Mine, Roderick Strong and Damon Kemp. Damon Kemp's kind of new to the group. Real good tag team match. Creed brothers won. Creed brothers, I think, are ready for the next level. But the real thing about Damon Kemp, Chris, you're going to have to help me out with this because I'm forgetting his name right now. But Damon Kemp is the brother of the Olympic gold medal champ from Minnesota who's signed with WWE.
Gabe Stevens.
Gable Stevens. He's Gable Stevens' brother. Of course, he's going by Damon Kemp. And this dude debuted on WWE TV maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And you can tell the improvement, man. You can tell he's working his butt off. And he's really, I mean, you can see it. It's starting to click. So may see big things from him soon, hopefully. Then we have the main event. Was an NXT Heavyweight Championship match. Braun Breaker put up the belt against Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes is outstanding. Another one that I'm afraid that Vince don't get it and he would get lost up on the main roster. I think he could be a huge star on the main roster. I really do. But Braun Breaker, this was great. I mean, they had great storytelling. Braun Breaker had a hurt shoulder coming into the match. Cameron Grimes just pounded that shoulder. Braun Breaker, I think, showed great skill of selling, something that I don't think he has showed that much. I mean, he really sold. Cameron Grimes got great facial expressions and stuff, always has since I've been watching him. It was a great match. Probably, I'm going to say just because of the storytelling, probably match of the week for me. And it was a really good show. Matter of fact, it was show of the week for me by landslide. The other two shows wasn't even close. Did you get to see any of the NXT?
No, I haven't watched any of it yet.
You need to get back. You need to go back and watch it. It was a really, really good show.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it this evening. I watched it. Like I said, last night I watched Money in the Bank back. I was Tuesday we was having that cookout and everything, and then I haven't got a chance to go back and watch it.
Next up, AEW Dynamite. The show just it didn't hit for me, and I was surprised. I'll tell you something I did afterwards and say, because sometimes I can be a little hard on AEW, so I try not to be. So I went. Well, I'll explain that after I do this. But anyway, Wardlow opened the show and he went had a challenge. He had a match, a championship match against Scorpio Sky for the TNT championship. Wardlow didn't squash him, but pretty convincing victory. They're pushing Wardlow. I think Wardlow could be a huge star. The fans were really hot for him. I mean, since he beat MJF, I thought they let him cool off a little bit, but he got right back in there. So hopefully he gets the right push, and we'll see what happens from there. Next, we had a tag team match. We had Thunderstorm, which is Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm. That's what they're calling their tag team now, Thunderstorm. They went up against Nyla Rose and Marina Sharif. Match was okay. Nothing really stood out to me. Of course, Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm won the match. I would still like to see Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa continue a feud myself personally, but we'll see what happens from there. Next up was tag team match, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland against the Butcher and the Blade. Hadn't seen Butcher and Blade hardly on AEW at all in the last 2 or 3 months, but somehow they were the number 4 ranked tag team in AEW because they've been going undefeated on Dark, and so I don't understand. The rankings don't mean a whole lot. I love Keith Lee and I love Swerve Strickland. I think both of them could have been huge stars in WWE. I thought it was sloppy. I thought the match was sloppy. Keith Lee and Strickland got the victory, but it just didn't hit for me at all. Next up, the highlight of the show was Christian coming out with Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus had no, he didn't have a match. That was last week. They came out and Matt Hardy interrupted him, and Hardy's trying to give Christian some crap for what was going on, what's been going on and what he did to Jungle Boy and stuff. And the Christian told him, said that you make your brother sound like the sober one. That's what I told Matt Hardy. He said, and he was on Matt Hardy pretty good, and it was a pretty good segment. Next up, we had the interim heavyweight champion Jon Moxley put the title on the line against Brody King. Brody King, most of his popularity has been from New Japan and mostly probably Ring of Honor. I like Brody King. He's a big, strong dude. Decent match. I had to go to work, so I got to catch it the next day on YouTube. It was okay. It was solid. Okay show, but it just didn't really click for me. So I went to the most favorable site I could go to, Bleacher Report, who does AEW reviews and usually gives everything B plus or A. They about every match on here was C or C plus. They were not fans of the show either. So it wasn't just me. Because I know that AEW is not they're not trying to appeal to me, my age and stuff. So I try to make sure I don't be too hard on them and stuff. But the show just didn't connect with me at all. Okay, next up, if you want to, we can go over Money in the Bank. I thought it was a real good show. It started off with the Money in the Bank women's match. Of course, Liv Morgan won the match. I don't think it was the greatest Money in the Bank match I've ever seen. That's why even women's Money in the Bank I've ever seen. But just the fact that I think they surprised people with Liv Morgan winning it, I think it turned out to be a huge success.
I thought it was a pretty good match. I do agree with you. They could have switched. They should have switched ladders. That would have helped a little bit on a couple of the things they done. I thought the way it ended with Liv Morgan falling over, kicking off the rope and coming back, I thought that was pretty cool. And I'll tell you what, the pop Liv Morgan got from that crowd when she got that briefcase, that arena erupted.
And just on that, talking about that segment with Liv Morgan kicking that.
Lost you for a minute. Okay, we got a technical difficulty. He'll be back. But no, when Liv Morgan kicked, if you haven't seen it, she was up on the ladder.
Chris?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
I think we froze up. Okay. Liv Morgan Liv Morgan kicking off that rope. People probably don't think that's a big deal, but I got to hear Bully Ray talk about that, and Bully Ray said that is not an easy thing to do. He said, maneuver a ladder to kick off that rope, to get back up, to kick just the right amount and get back
So you
up
don't
like
go
that,
the other way.
or yeah, you don't make it, or he said that's a difficult thing to do. Heck, you could even miss the rope and I didn't kick it. He said it's not an easy thing to do, and he was really impressed with that, and he was really impressed with Liv Morgan getting the win. Again, he didn't think the ladder match was. He said there were some bugs and little things, but he said that's going to happen sometime. I got ladder getting messed up. Like I said, the ladder got bent, and like I said, they should have threw the ladder out and grabbed another one. But you're in there trying to work. You don't really. You're just trying to make it work. But yeah,
I'll tell you what else made the ending awesome was Becky Lynch's reaction on the outside of the ring.
Yep.
Becky Lynch selling it, throwing a fit all the way around the ring on. That even made it, to me, made the ending even better.
Yep, I agree 100%.
But
Yeah,
the crowd's definitely behind Liv Morgan. She got a lot. That place erupted when she got that briefcase.
I
didn't think it was the best ladder match or Money in the Bank match I've seen, but it wasn't the worst. But I did like the ending. I thought the ending came out real well.
Yeah,
and there was a few spots in there that was something a little different that I liked. But overall, I thought it was a pretty solid match.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Next up, we have Bobby Lashley in the going for the United States Championship against Theory, which of course Lashley ended up winning. I thought that was a real good match. Theory can go, and of course Lashley can go. Lashley got a pretty convincing win. It was a good solid match, probably 12, 13, 14-minute match. It was real good. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, Lashley got the win, and of course Theory got to come back later in the night. We'll talk about that in a second. But what did you think of that match?
I thought it was a real solid match. I'm not going to lie, I was surprised that Lashley won. I thought Theory was going to win that match going into it. So I was surprised Lashley won, but I thought it was a real solid match.
They kicked off the show with two surprises kind of there that I don't think people thought were going to happen. So that was a good way to do it. Next up, we had a Raw Women's Championship match. Bianca Belair putting up the belt against Carmella. Of course, I think everybody knew or figured that Bianca Belair was going to win that match because Carmella was a last-minute replacement for Rhea Ripley, who's injured right now. Good performance by Carmella. It was a good, solid match. I enjoyed it.
Carmella's definitely got a lot better in the ring. She's improved a lot.
Yeah, and she don't get the credit she deserves. She's good on the microphone and she's good in the ring. She's a lot better now in the ring than she was when she was champion.
Yeah,
night and day. So and people don't see that, so it's not really fair. But
and I thought the commentary on that match was great with having, of course, I'm gonna forget his name now. Graves, having Corey Graves all there. I thought the way the stuff he was saying and stuff. I just thought it really went with the match good.
Yep, I agree. Next up for that, we had that's another thing. I like the way they laid out the card. They had the women's Money in the Bank, then you had Lashley, then you had another women's match, and then you go into next we had the Usos after the Bianca Belair match, tag team match. To me, it was match of the night, man. It was fantastic. I'm not sure how long the match was. Probably a good 24, 25-minute match, probably. I don't think the crowd wanted it to end. I think they ended it in the Street Profits really didn't lose because his shoulders were up, and they showed that highlight after the match, and I thought that was good. I think we're going to see another match probably pretty soon, probably at SummerSlam, probably some kind of gimmick match or last man standing. Probably won't be last man standing because, of course, that's going to be Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, but some kind of match. I heard the Street Profits, their dream match is they want to have Usos, themselves, and which I think would be pretty awesome. With those
And
with those
what you
6
cut
guys,
out?
I think that said that the Usos, or excuse me, the Street Profits, they would like to have a ladder match with the Usos and the New Day. That would be their dream match. So, and I think it could be a hell of a match. So maybe we'll see
Yeah.
that down the line if they don't split up the Street Profits. There's a lot of rumors going around that the Street Profits are going to split up. So we'll see. Which, like we was talking before the show, Dawkins is really. I mean, everybody talks about the other guy, but Dawkins is really showing me a lot. So you have Can you hear me?
You froze up, Dad.
Okay. What's the last thing you-
You're
I can hear
you're
you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. Your internet connection isn't real good for some reason. Can you hear me?
Okay. Well, yeah, I hear you. Okay. Next up, we have the Ronda Rousey and Natalya match. And I tell you what, I thought that was a really good match. I like the way they laid it out. I like a lot of submission attempts, and I thought Natalya had a real good.
Yeah, I thought it was a real good match. Like I said, I thought the men's tag team match was match of the night, but I really Rousey really I thought really looked good in that match. And I've always, me, I've been a little bit of a critic of hers going to WWE, but I thought her and Natalia put on a good show.
Some people understand that a lot of people want Ronda Rousey to be a typical professional wrestler. She's never going to be that.
Yeah.
All people don't take this all.
Dad, you're hold on, let's try something here. You're still you're still froze up. Is your Wi-Fi on your phone on? I don't know that. Yeah, that's all right. Just back out and come back in. Yeah, because you're try that. You can go ahead and back off and then check it and then come back on. Yeah, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties as he gets that fixed. Well, no, Profits and Uso I thought was the best match of the show. They put on a great show. That Montez Ford's athletic as hell, but I thought Dawkins really showed how athletic he was in that match. But both teams looked strong, like he was saying. Montez Ford's shoulder was up when the referee was counting the pin, so of course that's going to lead into another match. But that was probably a 25-minute match, and they could have went probably for another 20 minutes, and I'd have been all right with it because I wasn't really into the match. I thought it was put together well, and I mean, of course, the Usos are the Usos; they're not going to have a bad match. But you get two of the best tag teams there is right now together like that, they're going to put on a show. Then he was next match was the Rousey and Natalia match. I really thought I agree with him. I thought it was a solid match. It was really put together well. Yeah. If you swipe down on the top of it on your top left hand corner, it should be like almost looks like a baseball infield. It's a triangle backwards like that. That should be blue and not like gray. Huh? Is it blue? And you hit it, it went to gray. Okay. Well, just try to come back in then. Okay, so yeah, you want to hit. Is it blue or gray? Okay, it's looking for internet. So just if it's a question mark, it's trying to find your. It's trying to connect. Yeah, just see if you try to get back on. Okay, yeah, you're probably just having a little bit of trouble. Just let's try it again. All right, but no, the Rousey and the excuse me, sorry about technical difficulties, but yeah, Rousey and Natalia, I thought they put that to thought the match was well put together. Really thought that like I said, I've been a critic of Rousey's because just some of the stuff, like when she strikes, it's like it don't look real sometimes, but she's gotten a lot better. And I thought her and Natalia really done a great job in that match. He should be back here in just a second, and we'll get his thoughts on the rest of the matches. But yeah, them overall, I thought it was a real good pay per view, or excuse me, premium live event, not pay per views no more, premium live event. Uh, why we're waiting on him to get back on? One thing I will talk about real quick because you guys will be watching this Sunday morning. Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live streaming Summit Pro to the limit. There'll be an hour long Iron Man match on there between Kevin Giza and Ace Perry. Also, we have a battle royal or a rumble match to name the first champion. So, if you're looking for something to do Sunday at 4, Summit Pro big show. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. But yeah, no, I thought the Rousey and the Natalia match was real good. Like sometimes I don't like Rousey strikes because sometimes she'll just like she'll barely hit. But I really thought the match was well put together and I enjoyed it.
I like it. I like some of Rousey's matches because they're different than the other ones who look so choreographed. They look more like a real. I mean, a little bit messy sometimes. And if in a real fight, it's going to be kind of messy. And then she's built as a fighter, not a wrestler. She's more of a fighter.
Yeah,
So I really enjoyed it. Of course, Natalia did a lot of damage to Rousey during the match, and she sold that with a leg. I think she could have sold a little bit more, but she did a pretty good job. And Liv Morgan comes in with a cash in, and I was worried. I'll be honest with you. When she first came in and went at her, matter of fact, me and your mom and Banke watching the match, and I said, "Oh, she's gonna come in, and Rousey's gonna tap her out." And boy, she got her and got her. It looked like she was gonna tap her out, but she rolled through and got the pin. And I think that shocked people. I thought that was a good way to do it in a way because people thought, oh, here she comes, and oh, she's gonna lose, and WWE's gonna screw up again, and then she rolled through and got the victory. So uh,
yeah,
I agree. Bully Ray did critique that a little bit. He thought if the roll through would have been a little cleaner, like when she first went for the ankle, instead of getting it on, if she would have rolled through immediately and got the victory, then he thought it would have been a little bit better. I don't disagree with that, but I still think it was really good. And like you said, the crowd went nuts. The crowd went nuts for that, just like they did for. That was the thing about this show. You got a lot of big moments. You got a lot of big moments and a lot, some good action. Uh, that leads to the. What do you think about her winning the championship? Liv Morgan.
well, when she came out, I thought she would win, but then I felt like you the way it first happened, like oh they're not going to let her win. But no, and the crowd loved it. The crowd went crazy again, just like they did when she got the briefcase. The crowd loved it.
Yeah, they did. I did big pop again. She got big pops that night. Next up, we had the men's Money in the Bank match. Had 7 competitors. Right before the match, gets ready to start. Commissioner comes out and said they're adding somebody and announces Theory. And I think most people at that point, thought Theory would win. I still think they get. I tell you, the guy that I thought got over the most, which I think Theory got over, because I mean he got the booze and that's what he wants. He wants to be hated. They want to build that a big heel, and they could use a big heel. And I think Theory's headed that way to be a monster heel for them. But the guy that I also thought got over, even though he didn't win, was Riddle. The couple of moves, that floating bro that he did off the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
I've watched it a couple of times now. I don't know if you noticed when he landed, man. Poor, of course, I won't forget his name, Sheamus. He took the brunt of that on his neck, man. I mean, he got drilled, and surprised he ain't hurt. But yeah, that was unbelievable. And then also that big RKO that he hit on Seth Rollins from the top of the ladder was outstanding. He had 2 great moves. The only thing I was a little bit surprised with in that match was I didn't think Seth Rollins got a lot. It didn't do a lot. I thought Sheamus and Drew McIntyre had some big moments and had some really good stuff. But I was a little surprised by that. But I think that a lot of people, well, Theory didn't do anything. He just kind of, yeah, he's a heel. He waited for his opportunity and won. That's what it's supposed to be. And so, and a lot of people, well, a lot of people didn't like Theory winning, but I think I think a lot of that is because Vince is behind him.
Yep.
But I think Theory is going to be a big star. I know Bobby Lashley thinks Theory is going to be a huge. I seen an interview with him. He thinks he's going to be a fantastic star for WWE for a lot of years to come. So, yeah, Money in the Bank was a real good show. I don't know. I don't think, as far as the wrestling matches go, overall was probably as good as maybe the last 2, but for the surprises and the way it was laid out and everything, it was, and the show was just as good as the other one. I tell you, they've been on a roll since WrestleMania. The shows have been really good.
And I'll tell you what, the crowd, the live crowd there was really into the show. That crowd was up and loud the whole night. And sometimes you don't see that as much from WWE crowds as you do AEW, but that crowd there was a lot more into it than what the crowd was for that AEW pay-per-view. Not the last one, but the one before, the one that was supposed to be their WrestleMania. That crowd was dead most night. This crowd here was live all night.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some stuff since then. Peacock was real happy, saying that this Money in the Bank was the most watched ever watched. Money in the Bank. I guess the numbers for the gate was really good too. I think maybe the most ever for Money in the Banks.
Well, they sold out. Is what I heard. They sold out in Vegas the same night as a big UFC.
Yeah, that I don't think ended up selling out. It had more seats. I think they had 17,000, but going into that day, I checked on Wrestle tickets, and UFC still going into that day they still had like 1,500, 2,000 tickets left.
Oh,
but
UFC did.
But I think they'd added some, and plus it was 17,000 too.
Yeah.
So, and it wouldn't be unheard of that 1,000 people could walk up and go see a UFC if they find out they're available. So they could have sold out.
Yeah, and being the 4th of July weekend too. That to me is a thing that you'd think could hurt.
Well, I know their next show for SummerSlam, it's in Tennessee, at Tennessee Stadium. They're putting up 35,000 seats as of right now. And of course, the show's still 20 days away. I think they've sold about 26,000, 27,000 seats. So still about 7,000 or 8,000, but you still got 20 days till the pay-per-view. So I think they'll get to 35,000, maybe more. They may end up having to add some more. So, okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about real quick was it's been a few days. It's been over a week now, but was Dead on Arrival. We did that watch along of that pay-per-view, and big story. The biggest thing I thought was a pretty good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. For smaller promotion, game changers. Not the WWE. It's not AEW. They don't have the production values or anything, like that. But they giving a lot of independent wrestlers a platform to come wrestle, which I'm all for. They have some good wrestling on that. They have a lot of death matches and stuff like that. Wanted to talk about the Hoodfoot and Slade situation. There was a match on there, and I know people can get on YouTube and find it. And wanted to get your thoughts on that. Of course, can you hear me?
Yeah.
In the first 2 minutes of the match, 60 seconds of the match, they get light tubes and break them up and split them in half and start stabbing each other with them. And Hoodfoot got stabbed in the arm and end up having to have over 40 staples inside and outside the arm total, and that's a lot. I don't think people realize how much that really is. What do you think about that?
That's some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. I think them guys are crazy. You know, at that level, you don't getting paid enough for that. I mean, I guarantee you his doctor bills is a hell of a lot more than what he got paid to wrestle that night.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, ain't even
He
close.
made what? I'm just guessing. I don't know for sure, but maybe a couple $100, maybe.
Maybe
Game
five,
changer maybe pays a little better than that. I don't know, but
I don't know. Maybe 500.
but even I mean, you could put on a show and get over with the fans without having to do that.
Well, and the thing of it is, we watched. One reason we watched because there was a lot of guys from Indiana that you know that wrestle and they do death matches and they do regular matches too. All them guys doing and they're great talents. I'm not putting. Hope nobody takes this the wrong way. I'm not putting anybody down. But we earlier in the night there was a match. It was more just of a hardcore match. They didn't really use any light tubes. They just went all over the place. Compare it to maybe what that Jericho big brawl they had a couple pay-per-views ago. Something like that, but not as elaborate. But you know what I mean. It's compared. They went all over the place.
Yep.
I was more entertained by that than I was the guys with light tubes.
I agree, but I think some of that was because after seeing what happened to Hoodfoot, I think that might have changed the mood on because even the crowd that next death match right after that match, the crowd was still stunned. The live crowd was still stunned there for a little bit before they got back live.
And I think also for me and you, a lot of people that go to those shows expect a lot of death match stuff. Me and you haven't seen a lot of death match stuff, and having to me, just me personally, maybe if I went to more shows, I wouldn't feel that way. Having 3 or 4 death matches with the light tubes and stuff like that to me is too much. I mean, that's just me personally. But it was still a good show. I mean, heck with Fight TV, it was $10.99, $11.99, 3-hour show. And that's the other thing. A lot of people give Game Changer. Yes, they do have the death matches and they do the light tubes. They do some hardcore stuff. Just no disqualification match, stuff like that. But they have some really good wrestlers on that show too. And we've seen some really good wrestling also. So I'm not trying to put them down, but I just and the thing
I'm not gonna lie, I still want to go to one of them live and go check it out. But
I'd like to check it out.
But I'm not gonna lie, when that happened to Hoodfoot, that did change. It kind of changed the mood of it for a little bit.
I watched,
like I said, even you could see that in the live crowd as well, because they was like, oh, you know, what I mean, they were.
You need to go back and watch it again. I watched it back on YouTube, and I think that Slade's nuts. He kept going after him, and I don't know if he knew how injured he was or not, but he pushed that referee out of the way a couple of times. Like get out, and of course Hoodfoot
was trying to get up.
He wanted to keep wrestling, and was upset he didn't get to keep wrestling.
He would have bled out if he'd have kept wrestling.
Yeah, he would die.
The way he was bleeding, I mean, there was already a puddle of blood in the ring. I mean, it was crazy.
Well, like I said, you could see the skin hanging off of his arm.
Yeah, it was crazy. You could just see the skin flapping.
It was nuts.
And Hoodfoot's from Indiana. So Indiana, even if he wouldn't, hope for a good, speedy recovery and everything, and get back in the ring. Because I was kind of disappointed because it was going to be my first time actually seeing them get the work, and didn't get to see much. So I'm hoping when he gets healthy and gets back in, I'll get a chance to catch him because I've heard a lot of good things about him.
Yeah, and people, I don't have all the information, but if people interested, Hoodfoot, they put a bunch of merchandise up on online, selling different shirts and stuff. Trying to make some money to help pay his bills. So might check that out if you want to, check out video out on YouTube, and if you're a fan of his, or if you want to help him out, maybe buy some merchandise from him. And they had some cool looking shirts and stuff.
I just think, and I'm not, like I said, not putting anybody down at all, but to me, it's just you're taking a lot of risk for not enough reward. Especially if you're a guy that has the talent and has aspirations of trying to get to the next level. I just think you're taking too much of a risk.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe these guys are getting maybe I'm still not saying it's enough, but maybe they'll get paid a little bit more than what we think. Maybe they're getting paid $1,000 or $2,000. And again, I'm not saying that's enough money. I don't think getting paid $100,000 a year is enough to go through that, because his hospital bill could probably going to be $30,000-$40,000. You think, Chris?
Oh, probably. Who knows?
The way So again, he may be making more than what we think. He may be making a living. He may be making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, traveling all over the country doing this. And if that's what he wants to do, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not putting him down.
No, I mean, that's up to you. But I'm just saying, to me, it just seems like you're taking too much of a risk.
Well, the thing about it is that doing those matches is not going to get you to the next level. AEW is not going to do those type matches. I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't put you in some hardcore and tone it down some, but that's not going to get you to the big show, to AEW or WWE. It's not. But some of those guys may don't want to go there, and they guys got enjoy doing this. I mean, they wouldn't be doing it. So, more power to them. But it was crazy. It was definitely crazy. Next topic I had up was Pat McAfee signed a new multi-year deal with WWE. So what do you think about that? I know you're a big McAfee fan. I am too.
I think it's a real smart move by WWE, because he's, in my opinion, one of the better things they have going right now. I mean, he's awesome as an announcer, and awesome. He's good in the ring as well. I think he'll put on. I think him and Corbin are going to put on a hell of a show at SummerSlam.
Well, I think so. Maybe still the show.
So I think it was a real smart move, and I'm happy for McAfee, because he has his podcast and all that stuff, but his dream, I mean, he said it a million times. His dream was to be in WWE, and he's getting to live out that dream. So it's pretty cool to watch. Like I said, I watch his show a lot. I'm a big McAfee fan, but I think WWE made a real good move here, because, like I've been telling you, ESPN and these sports networks, they missed the boat on that. They should have had him as a commentator 3-4 years ago, and
I think if you put him on Monday Night Football, you're ready to go up.
Oh yeah,
I would do that.
I do too.
Next
but
topic.
But he's different. He's not the same old cookie cutter mold.
No,
he's different. And
but doesn't ESPN, with the shape that they've been in, don't they need something different? Because what they're doing ain't working.
That's what you would think, but I don't understand it.
Next topic is Logan Paul. Logan Paul signed a multi-year deal. Don't know how many shows he'll be doing and everything with the WWE also. What do you think about that?
I think it's a smart move by WWE again. I know there's some of the independent guys that weren't happy with the move, but I understand the move. The guy has millions of followers. He's hot right now, and he's athletic. He's not like he can't work. He proved at WrestleMania that you could tell he's put in some work and he's serious about it.
And I heard he
didn't look terrible. I didn't think he looked bad at WrestleMania at all. So, and now he's wanting to go. It looks like they're building a feud with the Miz.
Yeah, going to build a feud with the Miz, and I think that's what's going to be probably at SummerSlam. But I heard something interesting today. A couple of things, and it got to do with Logan Paul, some of it. But tonight on SmackDown, they're going to have a match on Friday night. This coming up. We're taping it on Friday, of course, so people will see it Sunday. But they're having a match with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. The winner will face whoever the champion is at over in England at that. I forget what the show's even going to be called now. Something at the castle. they're going to main event that show. The winner of that match is going to be in the main event against Roman Reigns or whoever the champion is at that time. So I do know. So I would think it's going to be Drew. That's my opinion. I do know Tyson Fury was wanting a match on that show in England against Drew McIntyre. So that doesn't look like that's going to happen. But now I seen a thing where Tyson Fury said today that he would love to take on Logan Paul in England to wrestle Logan Paul at that show. That would bring in a lot of viewers also.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah, it would.
That would be interesting. Get a couple big names on the show. Some people,
and I think people forget Logan Paul was an athlete. Logan Paul was a hell of he was a pretty good amateur wrestler. So I mean, him and his brother. So that him, I mean, they're athletes. They're not. Yeah, they're outgoing and they run their mouths, but they know what sells. And hey, they've made themselves millionaires. And I mean, hey, can't be mad at them. I understand some of the independent guys. Oh, we do this, we do that, but it sucks, but that's how business has always been.
I've seen 2 or 3 wrestlers come out. One guy's in MLW. He's a big dude. His name's Hammerstone. He's a champion right now. And he came to Paul's defense. He said, "Look, this dude's doing something different. He puts his name out there. He don't just do flippy floppy moves. He's a great athlete. He knows how to do a microphone. He knows how to get his name out there." And that's why people are going looking for him. And he said, quit worrying about the flip flop moves and learn how to entertain. And I mean, that's what, that's part of it, So I mean, I don't know why anybody gets upset about that. I mean, it's entertainment. It's just not pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, want to talk just a little bit about AEW ratings. Since their last pay-per-view, Forbidden Door, they've bounced back. They were struggling. They had a show that was 750,000, 850,000, which was way down for them. But since then, right after that show, they did the Blood and Guts, and it was over 1 million, about 1.1, and that's the best they had in months. And then their last show, this past Wednesday night, didn't make 1 million, but it was just under. So it seems like they bounced back. Of course, also to be fair, the playoffs are over. The NBA and NHL playoffs are over, so I'm sure that's going to help some.
It's also now you're basically just competing with baseball.
Baseball, and then you compete with summertime can make things hard too. But so they're bounced back. So we'll see. Keep an eye on that. But looks like they're heading in the right direction again on the ratings. Next story. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She wrestles in Impact Wrestling. I think she's one of the best female wrestlers in pro wrestling. And I've always wondered, why ain't she at the next level? Why ain't she in WWE or AEW? I've never understood. I think she's married to that Grisham that's champion for Ring of Honor right now. I think he's 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 not their world heavyweight champion. It's that one belt, the pure champion. I think he might be that, but I know he's got some belt in Ring of Honor. And but anyway, she's really good in the ring. But I've seen her on Twitter before say some controversial things, so I thought maybe that was it. But out of nowhere, I think it was Wednesday night, she gets on Twitter and she said, "I know this is going to upset some people, but I don't care." And here's what she said, Chris. I don't.
Wait. What's her name?
Jordan Grace.
Okay.
She's real powerful. Not real tall, but real powerful. She can go. She can wrestle men too. I mean, I've seen her wrestle. She's probably better against men because she can hit harder because she can go. I mean, she's really good. But anyway, here's what she said. "I don't think Chris Benoit could hang with most of the present day best wrestlers. He would not be able to remember his matches. Also, I hope he burns in hell. Amen." So then some people came out, and I'll tell you what, she retweeted after that. But I'm trying to remember who they were now. I can't think of her name. She was in WWE, and she was a big star in TNA. She's Oriental. What's her name? She actually works for TNA now. but she came out and I can't think of her name right now. It's terrible press. But anyway, she said, I don't agree with that. I think Benoit could have hung with anybody. And she just talked about the wrestling part. She didn't mention anything about the other stuff. And a few other people said some stuff about him being good in the ring, and so she gets back on Twitter later that night and says, "Proving a point. I said something lightly critical about him, and people were defending him. How can people defend him? He lost his right to be defended when he killed his 7-year-old son." Now, my thing is, why are you even bringing this up? Why are you even tweeting it?
Yeah.
It's not going to help your career, that's for sure.
No.
And
I don't. People can think what they want with the stuff that happened, but Chris Benoit in a ring would hang with anybody that's on the shows now. You're telling me that Chris Benoit couldn't wrestle with these guys? You ain't been watching pro wrestling. Because Chris Benoit could go. He could. Hell, I'd have loved to have been able to see like Daniel Bryan and Chris Benoit go at it in some of those matches. It'd been great.
Yeah.
Now, why he done is terrible. I mean, it's not terrible, but
I mean, I could understand her saying that or feeling this way. I don't understand her saying that to people. Yeah. It helps he throws it. I can understand.
I know it's probably unpopular opinion, but I think I don't see a problem with Chris Benoit being in the WWE Hall of Fame.
I understand why he's not from the WWE point of view. But does he? But for his wrestling, does he deserve to be in? Yes.
But what I'm saying is, if WWE would decide to put him in there, I wouldn't be mad. Because it's for what you done in the ring and stuff. Yes, why he done, but hell, there's been not just in pro wrestling. Hell, OJ killed his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even though he was found guilty, but if you ask about anybody, they're going to tell you that OJ killed his wife.
Yeah.
He was a Hall of Fame football player.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is that. And of course, we didn't know Chris Benoit at all. We just knew on TV. There's a lot of people who was shocked this happened. Thought he was a super great guy, and so it wasn't like he was. And we don't know behind the scenes what happened at home. So it was a horrible thing he did. It's unspeakable. And I never would defend him. But as far as his wrestling ability go, I don't feel like I'm defending his wrestling, but you can go sit there, you can watch it on video and see how good he was.
Yeah, I can understand her saying that if somebody was trying to defend what he done to his family, then okay, I can understand what you're saying. But when they're saying that they disagreed that he could compete in the ring with these guys, that's not defending them. That's telling the truth. That's not defending what he done.
I don't remember what he exactly said, but she got upset when Chavo Guerrero said something and just said that. I don't remember what he said, but I don't think he defended him. He just thought she was out of line, for saying, and technically, I mean, I think she is out of line. She's got to remember that he's got a son that's living, named David Benoit, who's in a ton of pain, who wants to be a professional wrestler. He's not professional wrestler material. He's not a wrestler material. I've seen the dude. He's not very big. He's frail. And I'm not putting the guy down. Some people, I want to be a professional wrestler. I never could, a lot of things I want to be a great baseball player. Just some things you can't be. And that's something he can't be. And he's had to live with this. His dad was probably one of his heroes and did this terrible thing. And he's got to live with this the rest of his life. She may not understand that she's just adding fuel to the flame for this young man and to his family. And they're suffering. Don't get me wrong, Nancy Benoit's family suffered the most, but Chris Benoit's other family members, they're suffering too. And I don't understand why she brought it up. I don't.
No, I don't either. And I don't know how you get mad when somebody is just talking about the wrestling part of it.
No,
I never defend what he done, but it comes to wrestling. Hey, I was a big Benoit fan, and when it came to the wrestling in the ring,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, and the last thing I had was a lot of stories that came out today about Vince McMahon. Uh, Chris, what do you think? You think he's in trouble? I mean, they're talking to four, possibly three or four different women that he's paid up to $12 million to total
Yeah,
around that.
but how can I don't know if he can get in any. I mean, I guess he could get in trouble with that board, but I don't know how. Technically, I don't think he can get any legal trouble if, because from what I've read, all these women signed non-disclosure agreements and stuff. So
And no
and not
charges
to take it,
filed.
and not to be able to take any further or any action and stuff. So I don't think legally that he's going to be in trouble. Now, when it
Take
comes
the
to the
board.
board, maybe, but he's still majority. I mean, he owns the majority of the company. So
Can
yeah, they
can
could vote. I guess they could probably vote you out at some point, but
But they can't. I mean, they could take him off the board, but they can't take him out being owner, can they?
I, I don't think so. I'm no, I don't. I'm not. Well, not that I believe, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But with them having non-disclosure agreements and stuff, and before, I'm not saying what he done is right or anything like that either. Just before people try to spin it a different way, but
No.
whatever happened, once they did, in my understanding, once you decide to take a money and sign them agreements, them are legal documents, and from then it's supposed to be over. And so I don't see how he could get like any legal trouble.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It
The
definitely
only
don't
way I
look
think he
good.
could be in any kind of legal trouble is if they could prove like he took the money from, like, after they were a public traded company, he took the money from the company to pay it. He didn't pay it out of his money. I think that would be the only way he could get in any legal trouble, I would say. Other than, I don't know about, but to me, it's Vince McMahon. I don't think he's worried. He ain't too damn worried about it because he's
Uh,
still showing his face on TV every week.
I've seen another
Uh,
story about that. I guess he said, and it's weird. He's been on TV two or three times, and this story didn't come out. Well, this breaks today, and they're saying that the last time he was on TV, when he came back to backstage, he said, "Fuck them motherfuckers." I guess that was his statement backstage to everybody. Now, could Vince said that? Yes. But my thing is, why is that just coming out now?
yeah.
So people are trying to bury it, and I'm not saying, hey, either you like him or you don't
Well,
like
and the same reason. Why are all these non-disclosure agreements just now coming out now
him.
after something else gets brought up? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't. To me, I just think Vince has so much money. I don't think they're going to be able to get rid of him. And
Probably
I
not.
mean,
Hey, it may be. Hey, he may just tell him fine. I'll be off the board. Stephanie will be on the board, and I'll do creative on Raw and SmackDown. They can't stop him from doing creative, evidently.
yeah, I mean, I
I think
wouldn't
he's
think
got.
so.
I think he's got control of that because he's on the air. They ain't be able to stop him from being on the air.
Yeah,
Because you would think if they had authority, he wouldn't be on the air right now.
yeah.
You
That's
would
what I
think.
would have thought too. That's what makes me think that I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot come out of it really.
We'll see. I don't know.
What
We
I think
haven't.
is going to come most out of it is just more people hating Vince McMahon, and or the people that already hate Vince McMahon are going to hate him more because the people that don't hate Vince McMahon, they're not going. They're going to keep watching wrestling like they always do.
Let me ask you something. The question came up, and this will be my last thing. Comparing two young wrestlers, probably close to the same age. One for AEW, one for WWE. Uh, Both are going upwards. Another one's going upwards a lot quicker, I think, right now. And Jim Cornette was asked about it, and this is why I bring it up. Austin Theory for WWE or Sammy Guevara. Which would you rather be?
Rather be
Yeah, I mean,
or
who do you think's got the bigger upside?
Theory.
Uh, Theory, but I mean,
Theory by a landslide to me.
yeah, because first of all, the WWE's behind him. Vince McMahon's helping give him a push, and then and here's the thing Cornette said. forget that. He said, forget that part. He said, that's true. He said, but forget that. He said, Theory has got it all. He's been trained properly. He knows how to do the facial expressions. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to do all this stuff that's way ahead of G.W.R. And he said, I'm not putting G.W.R. down.
No, I think G.W.R. has a lot. I've told you this. I think G.W.R. has a lot of talent, but I think he's underperformed. I think because they had him on TV before he was ready, and then I just think it's hard. You can develop some bad habits, and it's hard to get going because I think he has a lot of ability, but he hasn't gotten to the level I thought he'd be at by now. Where Theory's going.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, and Bully said this, a big problem with a lot of people in AEW, and that's why a lot of people get mad at him. He said a huge majority in AEW are working for the pop. They're worried about the crowd standing up and doing this for them for a minute instead of working smart and really getting over. Instead of trying to do a big move and getting the pop, he said that's not getting over. Them young wrestlers think that's getting over are 100% wrong.
Oh yeah, no, you got to know how to work the crowd, tell a story. If you can work the crowd and tell a story, you're going to get over way more than just getting a pop out of the crowd.
I mean, does Matt Hardy ever need to go through a table again? Does Jeff Hardy, especially, does Jeff Hardy ever need to go through a table? Does Jeff Hardy ever need to jump off a 15-foot ladder again? It's stupid. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy is royalty. He's just making an appearance and seeing the fans and putting on a good wrestling match. He don't never need to go through a table again. Never need to go off a ladder again. Why is he doing it?
And for people that are getting confused, here's what truly being over is. We watched the Rock and Roll Express at 70-something years old just a few months ago, back in February, wrestling probably about in front, I don't know what, 400 or 500 people, somewhere around there. They done maybe one offensive move the whole match. And that crowd, they were over with that crowd from the time they came out of the curtain until the time they hit that curtain. And they done literally one offensive move. And if you think I'm crazy, you could go to our YouTube page. It's DCCW Rock and Roll Never Dies, I think is what it was, wasn't it?
Yep, that's the name of it.
But I mean, they did, didn't they? One offensive move, maybe the whole match, but they were over from the get-go because he knows how to work the crowd, tell a story.
And the thing about it, and they wrestled one of the best tag teams in Indiana, the best tag team in Indiana, in my opinion. I'll say it. And then one of the probably better ones in the Midwest. They're really a good tag team. The twin brothers, they're outstanding. The highlight reel. But then before that, the highlight reel was in the ring with him, and there's a bunch of other wrestlers, and we got to attend also a seminar. And all he talked about in that seminar is how to work the crowd.
Yep.
I mean, showed him how to tie up, the right way to tie up. And mostly he showed him how to work a crowd, get a headlock.
Yeah.
And get over with the fans with just a headlock. With just a headlock, Chris. Not jumping off a 20-foot ladder. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing that sometimes. I'm not trying to, but
thing is, you can't make a career on doing that all the time because your body can't take it.
Look at Jeff Hardy. Look at his body. Man, I'm just being honest. Daniel Bryan ain't wrestled for 5 or 6 weeks now. I'm worried it's a concussion again. So
well, it's like Bully Ray. He said he would come back and do matches, but he'd take one bump.
Well, he said you don't need to take. He said him and Devon and ECW. And he's not even talking about, at that time, he wasn't going off ladders. He talked about the stupid chair shots he took to the head, to his back, stuff that he didn't need to do. And he was too young and stupid to know that you didn't need to do any of that stuff. And then people get upset when he's trying to tell these young wrestlers, you don't need to do it and don't do it. Well, you did it. He said, I'm trying to tell you, no, I did the stupid stuff. I'm trying to help you not do it. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a Hall of Famer.
and I mean, we cover it. We cover a lot of independent wrestling, and I mean, you see it sometimes in independents where it's all about it, where they want to get all about the spot instead of working the crowd. And I mean, and that's where sometimes you can tell some of the guys that go get trained, go to like somewhere to get trained,
Yeah.
or the guys that haven't been trained by the right people. You can tell, you know what I mean? You can tell the difference in that sometimes
Well,
because a lot of the people that we see that we know that go to schools, they're learning they're learning the right way.
well, I'm
And
gonna be honest with you. I see people that go to WCWO and go to school there, and I see the way they wrestle, and also trying to connect with the crowd and get over and get the crowd into it and stuff. And then I see wrestlers that don't go to school. There's a
yeah.
difference. I've seen people that's been trained by not Chris Rock, excuse me, Rock, uh,
Oh, Billy Rock.
Billy Rock, been trained by him. Perfect example, guys like Jared Kripke and Jordan James know how to work a crowd. No, no, no. I mean, to me, and don't get me wrong, I know that Kripke does not tremendous flips and stuff, but he's got some big, some big spots that he tries to do. But his number one priority when he goes out there is to connect with the crowd, and he was taught that at school, at the schools that he went to, and I also know Del.
And and anytime we've ever seen Kripke, every time we've ever seen Kripke, he's been over with the crowd.
No matter what crowd, we've seen him in 4 or 5 different places, and he's over with. He gets the crowd every time.
Same way with Jordan James.
Yep.
Whether
Yeah.
and that's whether Jordan's a heel or a face. Everywhere we've seen him at, he's over.
And that's
And,
the thing.
and then they're not the only two. I mean, there's others. That's just to name some, but yeah.
And this I mean, Kripke does a 619. He doesn't do any amazing flipping moves. Jordan James,
Yeah, Jordan James don't do hardly no flying moves.
so he'll go off the top rope every now and then. I mean, but these guys know how to work a crowd.
Well, Blake Money Wright, he don't do none of that high. He ain't a high flyer guy, but he's good on a mic and he knows how to work the crowd.
And he might jump between the ropes every now and then. He'd say
Yeah.
don't do it very often anymore, but every now and then he'll throw he'll throw it out there. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. To me, if you're a younger wrestler and you're really serious about it, learning how to work the crowd is the number one thing you need. The number one thing you need to concentrate on. Because if you get that down, you'll be the rest of it will come to you. In my opinion, because that's to me probably the hardest part is learning how to work the crowd and getting them invested. Because once you get them invested in your character, then it's easy.
Yep. Oh, I agree 100%.
I mean, look, we're going to a show this Sunday afternoon there in Summit Pro, and there's wrestlers there that we look forward to seeing them every time we go because we're invested in it because we've seen them. They worked the crowd. They got it. They made us care about it.
Yep. 300%. And especially the show we'll be doing here in a week or two in Danville, Indiana. I mean, it's a big show at the fair. We're going to have a lot of people there. And I mean, they've worked real hard with storylines and getting their characters over. And, they've done a great job. And that's, that's what makes the show better.
I think that's why DCCW and WCWO has the success they have is because most of them guys train that all at the same place and they've learned the right way. And
yep.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that Warrior Pro next week. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to Summit Pro this week. So it's going.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Should be a lot of fun.
Oh, we got Kokomo next week. Kokomo's actually next week. The week after is Warrior Pro.
Yep, and that's going to be really good. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I like Kokomo. Kokomo's got as good a crowd as anybody we've been to. I tell you, man, their crowd is fantastic.
That's one. So we have 3 shows in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Not counting the car show tomorrow. So.
Yep, got a big car show tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about other than I did want Summit Pro this Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern? they're going to crown the first ever Summit Pro champion with a Rumble match. Also have an hour-long Ironman match between Kevin Giza and Ace Perry.
Yep.
These guys have wrestled two or three times now leading up to this.
Yep.
And in my opinion, every time has been just as good, if not better.
Yep. I agree.
So I'm really looking forward to this Ironman match. I think it'll be entertaining.
Yep.
They're ran by good people. They put on a good show. So if you're in around the Greenfield, Indiana area, doors open at 3, bell times at 4. Tickets are $10. If not, you can watch it live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room. We'll be doing live commentary, and we're also going to have a special guest on commentary with us, Sam Mitchell. He does his own podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls. We done an interview with him, I think about a little over a month ago. He's going to come do some live commentary with us this Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be pretty cool because I know he's fired up about it. And, I think he's going to have a blast. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So I mean, and by the time people watch this, car show will be over. But
we got a big interview coming up Monday also.
Yep, Monday the 11th. Alice Crowley at 6 p.m.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. That's gonna be good.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be nice because we'll actually get to see her wrestle on Sunday.
Yep.
This Sunday the 10th at Summit Pro, and then we'll get to talk. We'll get to talk to her the next day. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yep.
In my opinion, she's one of the best women in the state, especially that we've seen.
Yep.
Her, Rachel Armstrong, and then I haven't got seen Billy Starks in person yet. I know that I heard she's real good.
She's doing real well. She's wrestled in about 30 different states already. So
I'm telling you guys now, if you don't know who Alice Crowley is, go look her up. Big Alice Crowley. I think she's better than some of the people you see in some of the bigger companies.
I agree.
Especially in AEW women's division. Just be honest, their women's division isn't that great.
Chris, I would love to see her get the opportunity to go to NXT.
I would too.
NXT's women division is outstanding. What they're doing with their women and stuff over there, I would love to see her get that opportunity.
She has the build. She can move. She can go, and she can go with the women or guys. I mean,
yep.
So I would love to see it. But that's Monday at 6, and I think it's I'll have to look for sure before I announce that. I think it's going to be the 21st. Yeah, 21st, Jake Carter.
Okay.
He's going to come on, I think, the Thursday before the fair fight.
Okay.
He's on vacation till the 20th. So, he's going to come on and talk some wrestling with us, talk about the fair fight, his big steel cage match against Blake Money, right? That should be real good. Because that story's been going, and them two guys don't like each other much at all. If you haven't watched that show, if you want to kind of catch up on Warrior Pro, if you decide to go that fair fight, you can find out on our YouTube and Facebook pages. I got it broke down into matches or the full show. I actually put all the single matches on there last night. The contract signing between Blake and Jake was pretty interesting as well. I put it on there as well. So, but if you don't have anything else, we'll go ahead and get out of here for this week, and we will see you guys next Sunday.
Yep. See everybody next week.
And where's my